Hello and welcome back to Railfan on Location, where we take you wherever we happen to be railfanning today. Today we are at the Durbin and Greenbrier Valleys rail yard in Durbin, West Virginia. There's no trains here today, but we're just taking a look around to see what kind of stuff they got piled here. So first thing of note is we've got an old clamshell bucket off of something, probably a crane. We don't know why it's here, but
it's possible that crane is off. The crane you'll see later on down at the end of the yard here.
yes,
It's about the right size.
there's a steam loading crane down at the end, still in pretty good shape too. So down at this end, actually, while we're down here, there's got a Y here. So this is one end of the tail track of the Y, and the other end's way down through the trees back there. So first train of interest is we've got an old wooden Baltimore and Ohio center cupola caboose here. We don't know when it's built. On the back, it seems to list two different dates. One for the Baltimore and Ohio and one for the DGVR, and we don't know which one's correct. They may also be road numbers, which actually, come to think of it, is reinforced by the Baltimore and Ohio numbers printed on the side of it.
So it must have changed railroads at one point.
Yeah. Still painted for the Baltimore and Ohio, though in pretty sorry shape. Need a lot of work to get it running.
However, the undercarriage looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Looks like they replaced this at one point.
It actually doesn't look too terrible, but I feel like the superstructure would collapse in on it at any minute. Don't think I'd want to take a ride in it.
Also, while we're here, this is 1933 rail. So I think this has been around longer than the museum has, for sure.
Well, and there was like 1920 something rail up there.
1922.
1922, yeah. So this is the old Chesapeake and Ohio main line through this part of the world at least.
I wonder if this was a yard where they stored backup locomotives for getting over the grades.
Yeah, because it's pretty considerable off that way, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Going up toward Cass. Could be this is just storage yard. The next car is we've got this open air passenger car, which is probably modified out of something. Doesn't actually look to be in too terrible shape. The undercarriage is pretty good on this one too, but
Showing age for sure, but they've been able to keep it painted enough. Although things like this, like the handles are starting to peel off of the side of the car.
yeah, it's definitely not in revenue service.
Yeah.
Looks
But
like,
hey, they could restore it up pretty easily.
looks like there used to be lights up on the roof, eh?
Well, this is an observation car, isn't it? Oh no, it has the stairs down.
Oh,
So,
yeah,
no,
yeah.
This is a center train car. But it has that
It's
iconic
got
top on it.
something on it. And it looks like there might have once been light fixtures up inside of here, too. So that's interesting.
It's not a heavyweight though. It still has the the double axle trucks.
Which are pretty ancient, solid bearings on them, which I believe are now legal to use in at least interchange service.
This is interesting though because I just noticed. So it has the 5 leaf springs in the center, but if you zoom in here, it has coil springs under or above each axle as well.
It's probably
right
just for extra cushioning, right?
Yeah, but that means that it has a double spring system.
Be a real nice ride.
It would be. Well,
don't know
I'd
if that's
say,
standard.
back in the day, this would have been pretty nice riding.
This would have been very nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, moving on here, we have a baggage car of, I believe, unknown railway origin.
No signage on any of it, same as this one.
Oh, wait, here's something.
We might have. Oh, that's just. It's just the railroad here.
Right.
Looks like it's their number 710.
Well, that means they've had it
Right
long
up
enough
there.
to letter it.
Yeah. It doesn't look terrible, but there's definitely, some signs of rust on it.
Definitely
Probably
needs a bit of TLC though before it can be put back on the line.
it's a bit of a fixer-upper.
Although they have put an one-hand generator inside of it.
Oh, so they have.
At one point in time, of course, they've been running this line for 60 years as a tourist line, so they must have had it in service at one point.
So this may actually be a post office car. I just noticed this, but there's a little thing here that says letterbox.
Which seems to be welded over.
And that would be a mail door, potentially. And then that's probably going to be your more area where people would live, and that would be where the mail was stored. I think, anyway. It's a theory, but it's not a bad one.
It seems to have hatches on the upper story there, too.
Yeah, it's old enough to have a vestibule on the roof.
That's actually quite a rare car, I think.
RPO car, if that's what it is. Railway Post Office.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's a nice piece.
That's a good find.
And also more evidence of use here. They have an airport here. I'm not actually going to turn that on because that would be stupid.
Brand new.
But
turning that on is a great way to start a runaway train, which is a terrible idea. Don't do that, kids.
No, because the brakes are off.
The brakes are off.
See, there's a gap in between.
That's probably not a good sign because they should be on if it's parked.
Yeah.
If the air brake line's functional.
So I wonder if this is a water system. Oh, yeah.
It's
Look
plastic.
At that. This is plastic. So this must be water then.
Water take in or yeah, and then this is a water cistern right here.
It could be, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Interesting. Oh, and here's another door that mail could be got out of.
Hey, we can see in slightly.
Oh,
There seems to be cracked.
Not really anything noticeable.
Oh, there's just school stacking chairs in there.
Okay.
So
might be being used as storage right now.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Oh, that is cool to see out in the open too.
Oh,
Look
yeah.
at that chain winder on it. If you
That's nice.
pop over on this side, it's spiraled. So
it is.
As the wheel would turn clockwise, it would suck up the chain and it would work its way along.
Fascinating.
Usually those have a cover on them, but not this one.
It's a bit of how railroads work for you there or something. We got a PA speaker there too, which is odd. That might be an addition to the railroad.
Actually, I'm just looking at this, and it's got a vent in the top.
Where does it go? It goes down?
Down. I think this is the same plastic pipe we saw further down the car.
Yeah.
I wonder if somebody put facilities in it.
Oh, I bet that would make sense.
That's cool that they've actually worked all that into the system. Like, you would never know looking at the car, but...
No, it doesn't make it look too bad.
It's cool.
Yeah. Interesting.
That's a bit of a bush fix out in Virginia. It's always a good thing.
Now moving on to something that probably runs, although we haven't verified this because we haven't seen it run.
Well, there's an easy way to check. You look at the drive tires, and if they're shiny, then that means it's been running.
What is a good sign is the rails on either side of it are about as shiny as the mainline track is.
Yeah, that is a good sign.
So it's probably moved recently. It looks like the paint's pretty good. It's still lettered for the Chesapeake and Ohio, which is cool, although it does have a number for the railroad it actually works for on there.
The undercarriage shows signs of pretty new paint.
Yeah.
All that black.
This is a little interesting, but that might just be a piece or something.
I think that's the primer they put on.
Oh, that would make sense.
And look too, if you can see the smokestack at the top.
Oh yeah,
there's
it's
lots
black.
of carbon on there.
That's a good sign.
I wonder if they
There's stuff
tow maintenance
in there.
away with it.
It'd be a good engine for that. Probably not good for a ton else on grades this steep, but...
Although, I don't know how bad these are. They're quite compact.
Yeah, but they're not very powerful.
400 horsepower.
400.
That's something.
That's something. Built January 1953
Wow.
in Schenectady, New York, which is probably me butchering that, so my apologies if you're from there.
That's a beautiful piece, though.
That is a nice piece. The only
Wow.
thing so far that's actually in good shape.
Operational, yeah.
The only thing in this entire place, I don't know, except for some trucks.
And
That's
they
nice.
also have a padlock bit, which I think...
That's a good sign,
that's
yeah.
another one of their... that's just a garden gate lock.
It is. It is too. That's
Wow.
another lovely in-house fix.
But if you can see, there's a little bracket on the door that connects over to the side of the engine compartment here, and you can lock the door onto the side for when you're switching or something. You can get better visibility that way, so it doesn't just bang around.
That's interesting.
Wow.
Mostly standard. We got
So-
some frayed wires in there.
Oh yeah. Oh, we certainly do. Look at that.
That's nasty.
That can't be good.
No.
And I guess, is this brake override? This?
Yeah, because it's going into there, into the brake cylinders, which will go down into the brake shoes on the engine.
Wow. Now, are these
Interesting.
the solid bearings?
They do kind of look like solid bearings, don't they?
Well, what is this? You said 1950 something?
It might still be legal.
1953.
I don't know. I don't know when they stopped using solid bearings.
Yeah. Oh, and this is a 1914 rail on this section.
Oh, yeah. Here we go. I can actually show you. Right there.
Sometimes the fish plates have a date too, but I don't know if these do.
I'm not seeing anything.
No. And it's... Do you think those are air tanks or fuel tanks underneath?
There's two of them.
Oh, they're air tanks.
I bet
Look,
air, yeah.
This is a there's a bleeder valve on the bottom, and there's a handle that they put up, and when you pull that, it gets all the water out of the bottom of the air tanks.
Right.
And actually, this has signs of wear on it here.
It's a little
if you
bent,
can,
too.
If you can see that,
Yeah.
I think that's a good sign that this engine sees service.
No, I'd say this runs. Not regularly, at least occasionally.
Well, moving on here, we have our lovely Durbin Station.
Which looks pretty nice from here. There's actually some fading paint and stuff. Could use a little bit of new paint, but otherwise it's pretty good.
Also, what do you think? Is that an old freight dock then?
I think that's an old freight dock, yeah.
Which is strange though, because it's too far away from these rails to make it usable.
So here's what I think though, is there's enough space here that you could have fit another track back in the day.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Right? So
Is
like
there-
say you had a switch there that...
So it went like straight off where the
Right.
coaches are.
Right, and just kept on going. And it's all sectioned rail, so they could take it out and we'd never know.
Right, I see what you mean.
And it'd literally be almost
Just bang on.
perfect
yeah.
alignment in.
So I guess that station platform is a newer addition then, eh?
Yeah, this might be somewhat original to the site.
Wow.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And over here we have another building that's probably original. It is the railroad bunkhouse. No idea if it's still used.
Somebody did a
Says-
nice job just painting that all up. Look at that.
Yeah. It's in pretty good shape. But don't really
Wow.
can't tell if
Well-
it's used.
Yeah, and then after that, there's kind of just a jumble
which we'll get into. There's a lot of fun stuff in here.
Yeah, you'll find a lot of neat stuff in there.
There's some real puzzlers of stuff in there too. They've been doing some strange stuff with their spare locomotive parts in there.
That's for sure. Oh my.
Well, we'll get there. We'll get there. Just wait.
This isn't one of their high rails.
It is not a high rail. Ford F-150. No rail wheels on it or anything.
Wow.
Got a
And
pile
they
of ties here.
here.
There's some more down at that end.
So how long have they been putting the metal grates on these? Because I don't remember this, walking on other railroads.
Well, I see them on the ones around in New England all the time, though.
Okay.
They'll just put metal grates or they'll put the metal S's. It's just something to stop the tie from splitting into pieces.
Wow. Well, it seems like a good idea.
Yeah.
I've seen this used like making all sorts of wooden products and stuff where you have to hold 2x4s together like trusses.
Right.
I guess it's just an easy way to you bang them in.
It's cheap and easy.
Yeah.
I think I even saw some around here that had like 2 S's hammered into them or something.
Okay, yeah, I've seen those around. Oh, and then when they rot, they have an S rotted into them.
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
That's fun.
We got our coal pile over there.
Yeah.
For steam engines, I guess.
Virginia coal.
Maybe. I don't know. Don't know the exact source of the coal.
And they have their backhoe down at the bottom there.
Which is presumably used for loading.
Yeah. Although they have a high rail attachment on the back, which seems to be a bit of a jerry-rig setup there.
I don't know if it's actually wheels. I don't see any wheels.
Well, on the bucket there, see?
Oh, yeah, on the bucket.
So I wonder if someone puts the bucket down and then just drives with the tires on the track, or what?
It could be.
That would be quite a talented driver to do that.
That'd be something. Well, we got a couple blue signs here for marking that there are cars in this track and you shouldn't drive into them.
Oh, is that what those are for?
I believe that's what those are for, yes.
Good to know.
And then this, it's got rail car speeder wheels, but I haven't got a clue what this is. It's just looks like somebody welded a bunch of angle iron together.
Yeah, I wonder, it's probably something to do, like you could put like a bucket of an excavator on it and then put the back of the excavator on axles, and then you could drive it down the line that way, and you just pick the front of the excavator up by putting the bucket down on that plate.
That's possible.
That could work.
And we got a shed of some description over here. Got a bit of a more up-close view of Durbin Station here.
It's still got brick chimneys.
It does. It's got a semaphore too. Looks like working.
That's true, yeah.
Don't know if it's still in use, but...
Now, wait a minute. Am I seeing like a double-sided one?
Yeah.
Because there's one with the red and white on our side, but the other one looks like it's for trains coming towards us.
Which they can't do because the track's been filled over in a grade crossing.
Yeah.
But
so I wonder if
that might be original to the site.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
So we have one siding that goes straight into this building here, which is full of promise, but unfortunately there's no windows.
And
so
we're not going to go poking around too much.
We haven't been able to see what's inside of that building.
But
although there is a hope, because it's the rough size of a 2-truck shay or equivalent. So they could be hiding something very special in that building.
And there's remains of several 2-truck somethings over there, but we'll get to that. They might be being used for parts.
So working along here, that looks like
a lot of fish plates.
Oh, here we go.
Oh yeah, 1993.
Oh, you should feel these things.
They're hefty.
Yeah, 1935.
Yeah.
Wow.
What did I say earlier? 1993 or something stupid? 1935.
Yeah, you know, that's where all our steel went. Is into fish plates.
We got a couple brake rods there, maybe? Something.
Yeah.
We've got a very interesting something here.
That's a veteran, I'll tell you. What is that, anyways?
I think it's a truck for something.
Yeah, but would that have power running to it? Or is that just a super heavy one?
I think so. My guess would be you'd have a driver there and a driver there. Yeah. Because there's...
If you were to ask
I think
me,
there's a shaft running down the length of it.
this seems to be cast.
Yeah.
The centerpiece. And then, oh, look, we have our grease cups.
Oh, yeah.
If we came here last year, there'd be a wasp's nest in there.
Oh, that's a good thing we didn't then. Maybe let's not poke around too much. Oh, that's what they should look like. That one's broken.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting. We got another speeder wheel here.
Yep.
We got a bunch of track work bits and bobs.
Also, I've wondered for a long time what these are.
Oh.
Can you answer that for me?
I think I can. We need a bit of rail.
A bit of rail. Oh.
Yeah.
There should be somewhere where there's a lot of rail.
What they are, I think, and maybe if anyone's watching this and actually knows the answer, they can let us know. But I think what these are is they kind of go on the rail like that, clipped on the underside, and they kind of stop it from sliding around.
Oh, like between ties.
Yeah, I think that's what they are.
Okay.
I know that's what these things are, right? Is they clip into the rail like so and stop it from sliding.
Right.
I think those are a similar idea.
And I think these are all switch sliders.
Switch plates, yeah.
Those are nice. And you can see too, when they were building them, this piece was punched out of the backside, and
Oh, interesting.
that would have taken a lot of force. Oh my goodness.
Well, just a good strike with a power hammer would do that.
Yeah.
Those kind of big industrial ones.
Yeah, maybe that's what they have in there. Who knows?
Ooh. If anyone knows,
Yeah, really.
let us know.
Okay, and then this is the maintenance of Wye Track.
Which is a little bit interesting. It's high rail. You got wheels on the front and back. Big blue truck. I'm not a truck guy.
I'm not sure what the ton rating is on it. It's a nice looking truck, but the real interesting thing about it
Is right here. Appears to spin.
So I believe that the box on the back spins 45 degrees, and
Maybe even.
you can dump it
well,
off.
not 45, 90.
Would it be 90?
That'd go all the way off to the side, right?
That's true, I guess. Well, because the rams are under this cowling here, you can see a bit of chrome here, and so they're attached to the cables that run through. So it must spin clean so that the back of the box is sitting parallel with these tires. That would be a sight, wouldn't it?
That'd be cool. Also clearly used fairly recently.
Yeah.
Got all of its required markings. Got a nice new antenna on the roof.
Yeah. Well, that's probably for radio.
Yep.
Wow. And yeah, the tires on the high rail
Shiny.
are all shiny still.
Yeah, that's looking good.
I like that door, you know?
Yeah,
It gives it a real nice vibe to it.
Somebody's got a couple lawn chairs here.
Yeah. It looks inviting, you know? We just need someone to show up, and then we can
Well,
ask to see it.
yes. We got a track machine here. I think what it does is it's a tamper, so it grabs under the ties and kind of shakes all the ballast down.
Okay.
Right.
Because-
This thing here grabs onto the tie, and then that thing there grabs onto the rail.
You know
I think-
what? Now, I could be wrong, and you know, if anyone knows, but I think this section here, you can see it's telescopic in this area.
Yeah, no, it drops down.
No, but I think it telescopes, so it actually
Yeah.
pulls.
Oh, is it?
ties?
I've
Because
seen
look,
one of these working.
these-
Yeah.
They're wild, hey? It's
Yeah.
crazy. So I think this system here, it pinches. Is there one on the far side? I think it pinches the track.
No, just one there.
Okay. Anyway, so that pinches the track, and that way it doesn't move. And then this big, I don't know what you'd call that.
Claw, I guess.
Yeah, it hammers down between and grabs the tie, and then it telescopes out and pulls it out.
Yeah, I think you're right.
These things are so complicated.
Made in France, I think.
France, yeah.
In French.
That must be a good one.
I guess. It's not in the best shape, but I think it runs because all the tubing's intact and not rotting.
Yeah, that's a good sign.
Speaking of rotting, we have this thing.
Yeah, that,
which,
I'm afraid, is a wreck.
It's hard to quite see how much of a wreck it is from this angle.
Hey, we could drop you guys down under the.
Yeah, let's see. Problem with this one is it sort of got no bottom. So.
Is there a blue sky up there? Must be.
Yep, there's blue sky up there.
Wow.
So it's completely rotted out.
Do the trucks have a date on them anywhere?
It's
It's got to be old. When did they start making things like this?
solid bearings.
Oh my! Yeah, you
It's
gotta
old.
see this. Look, this is shored up with wood.
Oh my gosh, it is too.
So I think it's
It's
safe to
so-
say that this hasn't moved in a long time.
Well, and if you look at the rail, they're
oh
rusty.
yeah.
That's stopped
Wow.
moved in ages. So this one's
Well, and if you notice up here too, it's all riveted.
oh, so it is.
So
And missing a couple of rivets.
that's for sure.
Interesting. This is a bit of a fixer-upper.
Is there anything further down the line?
Yeah, there's that crane we talked about earlier, right
Oh,
at the
yeah.
start. So here, if you wanted to see the crane, is what you've been waiting for.
Now this is probably one of the nicest pieces in this yard, honestly.
Not really in terms of condition it's maintained in, but in terms of interestingness.
Yeah, because what you're looking at is a steam self-propelled track crane.
So you've got a boiler up there, you've got a bunch of winches in there to run all of your crane stuff. You've got a big drum in here for it to spin around, and then you've got a power takeoff right there onto these wheels. So what they do is they put this specialized rail down on top of flat cars, and this could basically just travel along, sometimes even from car to car, and just pick stuff up and put it on. So they'd use these to load entire trains of logs, different versions of these. I don't think this one was a log loader.
But man, if you look at all that, you need 8 hands to operate this thing.
It's in really good condition too. There's most of it's still actually here.
And there's even the frost plugs in the is that what I'm seeing? The ports in all those?
Yeah, and it's got most of the tubing. It's got actually all the tubing really. It's got all the bells and whistles and throttles.
Oh no, it hasn't got the whistle.
Oh, it doesn't have the whistle. That's
too bad.
Oh, pressure gauge. I don't know if you can see it from here, but pressure gauge is completely shot.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
totally
that's
rusted.
wrecked. It has the and the sight glass is up there still.
Oh, but without the
There's-
glass.
Yeah.
Sight glass, sans glass.
So that's the throttle there coming off of the main input
And
there.
you've got a governor on it still.
Yep. That's a nice piece. That's like a steam tractor, you know?
Yeah, well, it basically was a steam tractor that didn't move.
So you know what this is? This is a cross between a donkey engine and a steam tractor.
Donkey engine, for those of you who don't know, is a logging skidder. So, if you don't know what that is, you can look it up. It'd take more time than I have now to explain it, but basically used for hauling logs around.
Wow, so this is a rare piece with all this
It is
here
a
still.
lovely thing. I'd love to get a closer look, but don't climb on equipment that you don't have permission to climb on. That's very
and
bad.
not especially, but look at this too. Look at all the rust off there.
Oh my gosh!
Look at that.
That's a little shot.
It's just peeling out of there.
It does, on the plus side, not have wood stopping it from collapsing. So
That is a good, yeah. But look at this
the
though.
deck is
This is unfortunate.
leaves something to be desired. Oh, here's one of the ties.
Oh, the
we were
S
talking about with the
ties.
S
Yeah,
things in
yeah.
them. There
Those
you
are
are.
nice. Oh, and these are the real thing too. You know,
yeah,
like
brackets.
if you ever dealt with like model trains, they'll have like a little tiny hole in the side of the miniature flat cars, and you stick little stakes in, But like this is like a 4x4. You could put fence posts in each one of these.
Oh, that's what they do too.
Yeah.
Very
This is
cool.
the real deal.
So,
Oh, look at the state of that brake. That's not supposed to be bent like that, is it?
well, right now it's resting on the, looks like, knuckle pin release for the hopper car.
Oh, yeah.
So the hopper car is actually missing a brake hose. There should be one from here and one from here that would meet in the middle and transfer the air brake line.
And then the manual brake on the flat car.
He's a little askew.
That's sad, yeah.
It's in better condition than the hopper car, which the manual brake is conspicuously absent.
Oh, but if you see here...
Though it might be on the other side of the car, I guess. We can't judge it too much.
Yeah, that's true. But this has got a cam lock on it. So there's a weight. You can roll the weight back, and then the, what do you call those? A ratchet.
Yes.
The ratchet engages, and then you can crank this over.
Which we probably shouldn't do.
It still turns, though. That's a good testament
That means
to it.
we definitely shouldn't do it.
And but if you turn that back on the other side, then it rests off, and you can unwind it. That's genius. That's what that is.
All right. So on to the next thing, which may or may not run, but is a bit of an interesting piece.
Hey, we're getting better and better here. Look at this thing now.
We're getting on to some real interesting stuff. This is a Whitcomb. We don't know when it was built, who built it, anything. But pretty old. Might still run, but hasn't ran in a while because there's plants growing out of it. But otherwise looks in decent shape. It's got a name on it here, which doesn't look like graffiti, so I think it's probably referred to as this. Didn't notice this before, but the cab roof is in rough shape. It's peeling.
Yeah.
Somebody's gone and put a bucket over the stack, which is smart because otherwise your stack will fill up with water and rust.
And one cool thing with these bigger diesels, they still have a sand dome on them. Just like their forebears, the steamers there.
So sand would come down from there, down into here, right on the wheels to help with traction.
And there's a front one as well for...
yeah.
So the back one is for reversing, and the front one is for going forward, I suppose.
Yep. And we got this interesting thing here too, which you think is an air compressor.
Probably an off-board air compressor. I don't know. This should have an onboard air compressor built in, but
and it's got an air tank right there.
That's true. But this must just have added a bit of power, or they were running something extra on it. That's connected up by belt to the motor.
In some way. Yeah, very nice piece of equipment here. Not something you see every day either.
It's got kind of an iconic headlight on the front.
Yes.
It's sort of like a Cyclops, but it's a nice looking Cyclops.
Not one of your ugly Cyclopses. And now the real interesting piece is right over here, where we have the only steam engine we can find on site. So this is a bit of an interesting one. We have a couple of theories about what's going on here. For starters, it's an absolute wreck. So it's missing all of the tubes in the boiler. It's missing the smoke box front. It's missing the stack, which is actually sitting right here. It's missing its original trucks. It's currently on a couple of caboose trucks, which you can tell are caboose trucks because they've got the leaf springs on them, being shored up by wood blocks. And it's kind of missing a lot of other important things like boiler jacketing and connecting rods.
So there's kind of three options here. It's kind of hard to tell what it is at a first glance. The most obvious thing is the V piston. So you can see one cylinder heading down in kind of an angle towards the center under the locomotive, and there's actually a duplicate on the other side. So it's kind of like a V drive. So like a V2 engine.
And that's essentially the hallmark of a Heisler. That's how you can tell you're looking at one.
Yeah.
But what's weird is we've got this bracket thing here, which looks sort of like where a climax cylinder could potentially be, We do have another theory that only occurred to us recently, which is could be there's an air compressor there. So that's possible as well, which could explain some stuff, but not everything, because there's some other stuff weird as well, like with the cab up there. Hello, it's us from the future. We've just realized we are incredibly dumb, and this is a Heisler, because if it was a Climax, there'd have to be a bracket on this side too, which there's not. So it's a Heisler, that's probably the air compressor. So we're just dumb. It's still possible that the cab's from a second engine, that is unexplained, but yes, definitely a Heisler, definitely not a Climax. We just didn't notice that there.
Yeah, the cab, I think it's probably not from, well, I don't know, we might be looking at 3 different locomotives right here. But judging from where the frame and everything all comes together, that looks like it's kind of just being stored on there.
And actually, here, if you'll hold on with us a second, we're going to go around to the other side and then we can see it a little bit better. Alright, here you are. You can see it a little bit better here. You can see it's chalked up on timbers right now. It looks like the tender and cab are at least a pair, because they seem to fit each other.
Well, where it was cut seems to be, like, the lines seem to be about right.
Yeah, but it seems weird it would be up on blocks if it's part of the engine, unless it's just to stop it from rusting.
So the only other thing I can think of, just thinking about the frame and the pistons, I wonder if this was a camp build way back when it was actually in service as a logging locomotive. I wonder if it was built out of a bunch of engines. Because this is a common size.
Not unheard of doing either.
So this is either kind of a mashup, like a parts mashup of a bunch of random ones that the cast people have put together just kind of for storage, or it's actually quite rare.
Or it's we're just not realizing that it's all one engine and that's just a bracket off of something else and the cab's like jacked up to, I don't know, stop rust or something. But
yeah,
it doesn't seem super likely.
Another strange thing I just thought of, if we get a little closer to the cylinders from this side, usually the valve chests on the Heislers are on the front side. You can kind of see it under the black plastic. No, on the far side.
Oh.
They run in line with the cylinders that kind of V down into the center. But if you look at that, the connecting bracket underneath that cylinder, if you see that white rope, and then right below it, right there, there's some connecting rods that are in line with the frame instead of in line with the cylinder.
Interesting.
It's almost like those are valve rods for a Climax.
If we can find a Heisler that's actually in one piece, we'll have to take a look at it and let you guys know whether or not we're drawing correct conclusions here.
Because, of course, this is a learning curve for most of us, so
yes,
it's hard to figure out.
But I'm sure if we say something wrong, you, the internet, will cheerfully inform us of that.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys are great. Okay, so...
And we've got another couple bits of the engine here, besides some tubing there. First off, we've got this thing is a high rail truck here. Looks to be used pretty regularly. Ford diesel. Sort of your standard run-of-the-mill high rail truck as far as I can see. Got a crane on the back. Just sitting here. But the real interesting thing is we're pretty sure these are the Heisler's drivers.
How many can we find here?
Well, we got 1, 2, 3, 4 there, and we've
And then
got
2
another
underneath.
something.
So
1,
that's
2.
6.
So not all of these are off of that Heisler, because a Heisler only has 4.
Okay, but here's an interesting thing.
And they're all the same size.
What did the back end of that Heisler look like? Because around this shed, there's another surprise.
Ooh.
I have a hunch now that we might be looking at a bigger locomotive than we thought.
Oh, what if it's, oh right, because there's a tender here. So this is something we forgot to notify you of, or didn't think to, or whatever. This is a trailing truck tender. So, you know, you have a 2-truck thing where you got a little tender at the back, and then a 3rd truck adds a whole, almost like separate car tender tacked on the back, which is what this is here. So it could be that this has one of those pairs of, well, it would have 2 pairs of wheels, which on a Heisler should also be driven. So the wheels would look exactly the same.
Wow, that would be cool.
And then
There's a bunch of random parts down here.
yeah,
too.
this is probably all boiler tubing.
This, yeah, it's hard to figure out what we're seeing.
Because right there, there's a bracket for mounting it to the
Where?
thing. Right, that's what I'm seeing. Bracket right there for mounting it onto the
Oh.
train car. Except
Yeah.
that that's going to be the end that's going to mount onto the train car, because that end's got a tank on it.
Well, the tender is sitting on top of something else. Those might be the underframes.
Oh yeah.
It could be underframes under there.
And we found that other truck that we didn't know.
Also,
And there's
If you
giant
see-
drive rods, giant connecting rods over there. Those could be off a Heisler too.
especially because a Shay has the Shay engines have the drive shaft on the right side along the trucks, but the Heisler and also the Climax locomotives as well, they have it running through the center.
So that would make sense.
That would make sense.
And
Those,
there's your there's a connection for, could be the tender.
yeah.
But these are Shay parts. You said you thought, right?
I don't know what those are. Yeah, if anyone, sing out if you have any ideas on what that is.
These
but-
could potentially be part of it as well.
Yeah.
And what I was thinking is we got that weird truck that we saw over there, right?
Well, I think
Could that be from this too?
actually, if you talk to
Oh, there's a
over here,
second one.
I believe this is a second one.
Hello, so it is.
Because look, here's on the far side, if you can see, there's those other little flaps on the
And
top
that's
there.
the other one. Yep. I think we're looking at 2
Now, is there a third right in the middle there?
here. I think that's just a bunch of random bits of iron.
Okay. Well, there's so much stuff in this place. I wouldn't
we
be
could-
surprised if there is another one somewhere.
There's plenty of stuff.
Also, since there are 6 axles here,
And
that's
actually,
probably a
that-
pretty good indicator that that is a Heisler.
that could, right, there's a bracket there
Oh,
that
yeah.
could be a mounting point.
That goes from the back of this to the front of the tender.
Apologies. Yeah, I bet this is a 3-truck that we're looking at, just minus the 3rd truck.
Wow.
That's a find.
So that's quite a locomotive. There aren't very many 3-truck Heislers around.
Cass has got one that's under repair right now, but
Well-
that would make it even more likely that this is a parts donor.
Guess what? They have 2.
They do.
Wow.
And
So this was pretty good hunting here.
this is a lot better hunting than I expected to find, I gotta say. We will have to do this again and see what other interesting things we could find. Like, for example, a pair of railroad crossing guards.
Yeah.
We could keep you folks here all day. If you liked this video and you want to see us go explore more random train graveyards, be sure to let us know and we'll see what we can do. Until then, if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing, and thanks for watching.